It's a New Year's Eve matinee as the Port Huron Prowlers end the calendar year 2022 with a visit to Big Boy Arena. Good evening, everybody. Will Wiggleman with you as the Prowlers and the Rockers finally hit the halfway point of their season series. This is game number 8 of 16 between these two teams this year, and it comes here at Big Boy Arena, a 2:30 p.m. scheduled start, although puck will drop just a few minutes later than that. As you can tell, we're already past 2:30 p.m. on this New Year's Eve. I hope everyone is enjoying their last few hours of 2022, and we're happy that you decided to spend just some of it with us here on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Well, the Prowlers will look to end the year 2022 with a victory and jump back ahead of the Motor City Rockers in the standings. But we'll have the pregame show coming up for you in just a minute, right here on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton.
Back here in Fraser, Michigan, Will Wiggleman with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Well, last night it was an entertaining game, back and forth with a lot of physical play, but unfortunately for the Prowlers, they come out on the short end of that one, a 5-4 loss to the Motor City Rockers, with the game-winning goal actually being an empty net goal. It's not something you see all that often, but Josh Colton hit the empty net for Motor City, and we'll get to that in just a second, as the Prowlers did have a 3-1 lead in that first period, but something that's plagued them often this season, giving up goals in the final seconds of periods, that came back to bite them again as Tommy Cardinal scored his second of the period in the final seconds of the frame. Just 6 seconds were up on the clock. That made it a 3-2 game going into the first intermission. Prowlers were still in the lead, but it really did change how the feel of that game, and it gave Motor City plenty of momentum. The Rockers would go on to rattle off 3 more goals in a row, so overall 4 straight goals for Motor City. Jonathan Giuliano batted one out of the air to make it 4-3 Motor City in that third period. Then Colton hit the empty net with 1 minute and 1 second left on the clock. Austin Federley did score for the Prowlers in the final minute of the third to give his team a little bit of life, but that was as far as the Prowlers would get as they fall 5-4. And with that result, the Rockers jump back up to second place in the FPHL's Continental Division, ahead of the Port Huron Prowlers. They now are 14-6-3 with 43 points. Prowlers 13-10-3 with 41, and now they have to check in the rearview mirror as the Carolina Thunderbirds are sneaking up on them. Carolina got a victory against Mississippi last night, and now the Thunderbirds tonight at 8:30 p.m. will take on the Elmira Mammoth. It's a full slate of games in the FPHL tonight, although only one of them will begin likely while this game is still going on. That's the 5 o'clock start in Binghamton between the Black Bears and the Watertown Wolves. Danbury and Delaware battling again at 7, and then Mississippi visits Columbus at 7:30, and we already mentioned the Carolina-Elmira game at 8:35 down in Winston-Salem. But the Prowlers would like to pick up some points here, but they did, and despite the loss last night, they did get to celebrate a milestone as Matt Graham picked up another one, his 400th point yesterday. He already played his 300th career FPHL game earlier this season. And last night, he had an assist on Liam Freeborn's first period goal. That was the 400th point in Graham's FPHL career. he becomes the 5th player in league history to reach that mark. Well, a couple of changes to the starting lineup as we look forward to tonight, as Vinny DeCumbis is back out after taking that hit last night from Scott Koash. We've been told that number 88 for Motor City, we've been pronouncing his name wrong. It's not Kosh, it is Koash. So Scott Koash threw the hit on DeCumbis, and it seemed to re-aggravate that shoulder injury that he was dealing with that kept him out for 10 games before last night. He was thinking about it this morning. Maybe he could play, maybe he would take warm-ups, but ultimately he decides that it's not going to happen tonight for him. So Vinny DeCumbis out of the lineup. Prowlers back to 9 forwards for the 3rd time in 4 games. The defense pairs stay exactly the same, but different starters tonight than the team had in either of their games in Elmira or last night. Larry Vartiainen, Joe Devaney, and Sam Gagnon, the starters up front. Adam Hainsel and Dustin Henning will be the starters on defense. And then Danik Rodrigue picking up the start in goal for the Port Huron Prowlers. Of course, he was in net when the Prowlers won the first game of the season here at Big Boy Arena all the way back on October 13th. He will get another opportunity between the pipes. Well, the team's just getting set to come out onto the ice, and it will be hockey time in just a few minutes for the final time in the calendar year 2022. Do the Prowlers have one more win in them? We will see. We'll be right back. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Prowlers have just taken the ice here at Big Boy Arena, and we're just waiting for the Rockers to join them. As for the Rockers, they step out onto the ice. They're wearing their purple alternate uniforms. And their starters tonight will be Jonathan Giuliano, Tommy Cardinal, and Tim Perks, a line that was very dangerous in the last game last night. Giuliano, Perks, and Cardinal accounting for four of those 5 goals. Cardinal had 2, Giuliano and Perks with 1 apiece. On defense, Ian White and Dante Suffredini, and Trevor Babin is back in net. Meanwhile, one more note for you as you watch this game. Dustin Henning is wearing number 94. That's Evan Foley's jersey. Allegedly, he grabbed the wrong jersey on his way out the door earlier today. So Dustin Henning wearing number 94 with Foley on the back. But it is indeed the Prowlers captain. So just keep that in mind as you're watching. Unfortunately for the Prowlers, they do not have Foley back. He's an important piece of this roster, centering the top line when he's in the lineup, and he misses his 3rd straight game for Port Huron. We will take you down to ice level for the rest of the pregame ceremonies. Anthem down, and before we drop the puck here tonight, we do have a ceremonial puck drop. But while they do that, we will take a look at the starting goaltending matchup for tonight's game. Danik Rodriguez back between the pipes for the Prowlers, sitting at a record of 3-3-1 with a 3.51 goals against average and a 901 save percentage. On the other side, for the second straight night, it is Trevor Babin going for the Motor City Rockers. He's 7-5-3 with a 3.64 goals against average and a matching 901 save percentage for the Motor City Rockers. Babin really settled down last night after a tough start to the game, giving up 3 goals to the Prowlers in the first 10 minutes and 53 seconds, but then really shut them down for the rest of the game. Only gave up 1 more, and that was Austin Federley's goal in the final minute. Sam Gagnon getting his first start as a Prowler. He's lined up here on the right wing side against the left winger, Jonathan Giuliano, and we are underway here from Motor City. Perks couldn't work it in front, and here's Joe Devaney. Nice move at center. Devaney's had a good amount of success so far this season against these Motor City Rockers. Here's Ian White into the zone. His shot high on Rodriguez. He's able to knock it down. Comes back to the point. Perks just kept it in, deflected. And Dustin Henning, if you missed our pregame show, wearing Evan Foley's number 94 jersey tonight, able to clear out that rebound. Devaney had it poked off his stick by Declan Conway, number 44. He's taken in hard by Hainzel. Comes out to Suffredini at the point. He rims it deep. Conway tried to center. Devaney has it again. He goes off the boards and out. And it slides all the way across to Josh Colton, who had the game-winning goal last night, despite that goal ending up as an empty netter. So it's not something you see all that often. As Josh Colton retreats in his own end. Here's Nick McGill-Diaz all the way up towards Conway. Now Scott Koash into the zone. His shot hit a body on the way through. Schumacher picks it up in the left wing corner. We played a minute and a half in this one. No score yet between the Prowlers and the Rockers as Dan Chartrand dumps it in deep. Worked around towards Conway. Brad Ryder, center on this line. Well, center actually on a different line as Conway is heading off. Here's Roman Gaudet. Went in hard into the boards last night. Gaudet with a nice move to the net, and he scores! Roman Gaudet with a beautiful move, able to tuck it home. And just under 2 minutes into period 1, it's already 1-0 Motor City. And Gaudet picks up his 8th goal of the season. Point number 20 for him. It's an early Motor City lead. Rotundi off the boards and out. Goes all the way down. And as Brian Parsons collects it in his own end. It's rimmed around towards... Is that Vinny DeCumbus? Oh no, it's Liam Freeborn wearing DeCumbus' jersey. We are all messed up here tonight for the Prowlers, but that is... It looks like it is Liam Freeborn wearing Vinny DeCumbus' jersey. So maybe they forgot to grab Freeborn's jersey as well. Here's DeCumbus to Matt Graham. Now it's rimmed around to the near side. Johnson at the point. Puts it back on net. It was cut off by Vaughn Clouston, who's back after serving a 1-game suspension last night. Cross corner dump. Giuliano puts it behind the net. And now Alex Johnson. Up the wall. comes into Rocker territory. Babin sends it all the way around to Giuliano. Took a hit from Adam Hainsel. And now Freeborn, in disguise as DeCumbus, comes over to Giuliano. He flips it into the Prowlers' end. Oh, just over 3 minutes into period one, and the Rockers with a 1-0 lead. Gagnon all the way across to Devaney. Feeds it up towards Vartiainen. And now Conway starts to move up ice with speed. Declan Conway dumps it in, goes after it himself. Rodrigue backhands it this direction. It comes out to Devaney. Battle for at the line. Vartiainen able to get it in. Sent right back out by Koash. Now Foley. Oh, excuse me, that's Dustin Henning. See, I got confused too. But that is Dustin Henning wearing Evan Foley's jersey. Meanwhile, whistles blow. It looked like a hand pass was the signal against the Motor City Rockers. So a couple of Prowlers wearing different jerseys tonight. It's, as far as I can tell, it's just Dustin Henning wearing Evan Foley's 94. And then Liam Freeborn is wearing Vinny DeCumbus' 23. DeCumbus out of the lineup tonight. Ryder over to Gaudet. Quick pass back. And the one-time shot from Makima was answered by Rodrigue. Here come the Prowlers the other direction. Prowlers on the delayed offside, so comes up to Ian White. White trying to work around Schumacher. He pulls up. Comes to the point, Ryder. Wrists it in, blocked by Minnie on the way through. Now Gino Minnie up towards Chartrand. Chartrand couldn't get it out. Now it does get through Gaudet. Comes back to Suffredini with 15.5 minutes to go in this opening period. Here's Jonathan Giuliano, 4 points for him last night. Rodrigue steers it away from an oncoming Tommy Cardinal, who had 2 goals in that game. Schumacher up to Freeborn. And now Graham into the zone, looking for Jay. Couldn't get a stick on it. Comes back out to center. Here's Parsons to Johnson. Jay able to dump it in as Josh Colton collects below his own goal line. Not too much action in this game besides the 1 goal. Here's Tim Perks looking to change that. Perks to the forehand. He scores. Tim Perks with goals in back-to-back games, and he gives Motor City a 2-0 lead. So not the start the Prowlers wanted, as Motor City has jumped all over the Port Huron Prowlers. So the Prowlers having maybe some issues with rest. They are playing their 4th game of this calendar week tonight, as Koaj has to go back for the puck in his own end. And the tough schedule doesn't end for the Prowlers here, as they have to go to Baton Rouge coming up on Monday. Here's Koash into the zone. Curls back. Fed across to Colton. Down low in front. And Conway got a stick on it, but just deflected it wide. Prowlers send it all the way down. And icing is the call. 13:49 to go in this opening period. It's been all Rockers so far in Fraser. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people. They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Back here at Big Boy Arena, 2-0. The score in favor of the Motor City Rockers. Early shots 4-1 for Motor City. The Prowlers have had little to no time in the offensive end so far, spending most of this game defending. And the Rockers have been able to put on a few goals early, and that's some tough news for the Prowlers, especially going against Trevor Babin in the goal crease to our right. A guy who's one of the best goalies in the FPHL, and he has stoned the Prowlers a number of times this season. Comes back out in front off the lively backboards, and Gaudette just couldn't put it home. Wrist shot from the point, steered out of play by Rodrigue with the goal stick. So tough for Rodrigue to get into this game. Had to face that breakaway, and then after Gaudette dangled a defenseman as well, having to face that opportunity. Prime scoring chances early on for the Rockers.
Give me 1 second.
Clouston comes down the boards. Comes right back up to Vaughn Clouston towards Reiter. Now Brad Reiter has it again. He retreats out to center. Rotundi to Clouston. Now up to Makima. It's dumped in. Here's Rodrigue. Feeds it all the way around. Clouston takes the wrist shot, looking for a stick in front, couldn't find one. Here's Dan Chartrand. Off the boards and into the Motor City zone. Minnie put it on, and Babin easily able to steer that one aside. Clouston has it again. Comes out to Jonathan Giuliano at center. He dumps it in. Schumacher first on it. Perks recollects in neutral ice. Here's Suffredini. Long up to White. Rodrigue tried to poke it away from an oncoming Tommy Cardinal, who went sliding into the boards. Now Gino Mini and Cardinal getting into it. Gloves are off as Cardinal threw a punch. Mini and Cardinal throwing. Gino Mini has Tommy Cardinal's jersey over his head, and Mini has him in a headlock, and he wrestles him to the ground. So not too many punches thrown in that one, but you have to give the decision, I think, to Gino Mini, as he seemed to have the better of Tommy Cardinal in most of that fight, and they're still jawing at each other. As Tommy Cardinal heads to the penalty box without his shoulder pads. And now, I think that's Mini's penalty box. Tommy Cardinal went into the wrong penalty box, and Gino Mini wanted another piece of Tommy Cardinal. So Cardinal just ended up in the wrong box, and Gino Mini's like, hey man, that's my spot. That's my place. Referees trying to direct the teams back to their benches, just to prevent any further incident. Mini took Cardinal hard to the net, ended up knocking him down, and Tommy Cardinal slid into the wall. And then he got back up. He and Mini had some words, and then a couple of bumps, and they were off. Again, not too many punches really thrown in that fight, but Gino Mini with some good technical work to get the jersey over Tommy Cardinal's head. Cardinal ended up with his shoulder pads off as well when he was heading to the penalty box. So we'll see what the penalties are. If it's just 5 for fighting, but there seems to be a longer discussion. Referee is indicating for 5-on-5. Referees tonight are Steve Gowdy and Colin Pons. Brandon Batens and Colin Pons and Brandon Batens are the linesmen. Steve Gowdy and Chris Hoy are the referees. I'm not sure where they're pointing to right now. The Rockers penalty box door has opened. It looks like they're pointing to Cardinal to head off the ice. Tommy Cardinal just held up his jersey. I think his fighting strap got ripped off. And now Gino Mini with some more words for Tommy Cardinal, as Cardinal is collecting his equipment and going home. So Cardinal to the dressing room. He already has an assist and a fight, but it doesn't look like he'll get a chance to complete the Gordie Howe hat trick. We'll let you know as soon as the penalties come down what they are, but for now, we'll get set for a face-off just outside of the Prowlers zone with 12:27 to go in the opening period. And finally, Koash can slide in against Matt Graham. There's Suffredini, and Bartlett is in, but offside is the call. So both players get 5 each for fighting. Tommy Cardinal picks up the game misconduct as well, as that rising shot catches the glass. But that doesn't affect any on-ice manpower. Here's Conway to Koash. Sauces it back up towards Conway. Ends up in Prowler territory. Hainsel up the ice towards Freeborn, and now Dalton Jay with a chance. Jay, power move to the net! And a big save there from Trevor Babin as Dalton Jay was looking to go 5-hole. The FPHL's goals leader, Dalton Jay, stoned on a breakaway by Trevor Babin. Here's Freeborn below the goal line. Now comes over to Jay. Up top, Hainsel put it on. Easily steered aside by Babin. Suffredini looking for a teammate off the bench. It's Makima. Makima is Bartlett going to that, gets it there. Ross Bartlett just couldn't direct that one on goal. Comes all the way out. Ryder walks in, fires. And a glove save for Danik Rodrigue, and he will hold on. 11:10 to go in the opening period. Prowlers trailing by a pair. Ryder wins it back. Quick shot from the point from McGill Diaz. And the whistles blew as McGill Diaz was letting that shot go. So it looks like somebody will be heading to the sin bin. And it's Roman Gaudet, the only one heading to a penalty box. So the Prowlers power play, which was 0 for last night, and now ranked 4th in the FPHL, will go to work with an opportunity to get back in this game. I suspect an interference call on Gaudet away from the play. That's all I can think of, as Federley's shot blocked the rebound. He got it back, and Babin was ready for it. The first shot hit Ryder, and then Babin got the second chance from Federley. So 2 minutes for interference on Roman Gaudet. Puts the Prowlers on their first power plays. McGill Diaz only got it as far as the line. Devaney out to Schumacher, walks and shoots. And Babin has that one. Two whistles already, and we're just 17 seconds into this Prowlers power play. Dan Chartrand getting some PP work right now. Lined up on the right wing side. The face-off comes back to Federley. Walks the line over to Vartiainen. Larry up to Austin Federley. Now Schumacher. Down low, Devaney. Back to Schumacher, he shoots. Save the rebound. And Babin got that too. Dan Chartrand right there. Motor City able to clear it all the way down. Rodri keeps things moving. Johnson fresh off the bench. Forced to curl back behind his own cage. Now here's Alex Johnson. Tried to feed someone at his own bench, but they were changing. Freeborn was able to recollect the puck. Koash wrestled it from him. He sends Jonathan Giuliano on his way. Giuliano across. Klauston couldn't kick it up to his stick. And now he sends it all the way back into his own end as the Rockers continue to waste time on this Prowlers power play that has 40 seconds left. Klauston backhands it out. Johnson was waiting for it at center. Now Dalton Jay turns it back in. Here's Jay with a power move. Curls back, gives to Freeborn. Cross to Johnson, his shot was blocked. Merritt waits for it below the goal line. Now Graham in the corner. Couldn't find Merritt. Johnson able to block it at the near side point. Finally, it's cleared all the way down, and that should take off the final seconds of this Prowlers power play. As Freeborn gets through center, stops up, feeds it all the way across to Hainzel, who had to mess with Gaudette coming out of the box, and Gaudette was able to take it off his stick. Here's Devaney. Flips it out. Gagnon chasing after it. Sam Gagnon gets there to negate the icing. He kept it deep. Comes around towards Henning. Pinched in to keep it there. Scrum there on the near side boards. And now Devaney just wrists one in on goal, and Babin forced to hold on. 8:28 to go in the first period, and the Rockers still with that 2-0 lead. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
.28 to go in the opening period here in Fraser, Michigan. Will Wiggleman with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Thanks for spending some of your New Year's Eve with us here watching Prowlers hockey. Prowlers trailing 2-0 already. We've seen 2 goals. We've seen a fight. We've seen a game misconduct. It's been a busy opening first 11 and a half minutes of this game. Prowlers will have an offensive zone face-off here. Merritt's line out there with Chartrand and Federley. Henning puts it down deep towards Chartrand. Reverse to Federley. Prowlers trying to get the cycle going, but good aggressive play by the Rockers to take it away. A couple of Rockers colliding at center, but they're able to keep the puck. Conway held up against the boards by Merritt. Federley ducks a hit from Bartlett. Austin Federley's on his way, looking for Henning. That was chopped back out by Suffredini. Adam Hainzel trying to curl away from an aggressive forecheck from Bartlett. Schumacher almost turned it over. Now comes up to Jay, has a step, Jay shoots, and he missed it just wide. Now Suffredini flips it out and past Schumacher at the line. Alex Johnson retreats in his own end for it. Here's Jay with it. Up towards Graham. Comes all the way in. Babin plays it to Miguel Diaz. Taken away by the Prowlers. Schumacher put it on, deflected, and went just wide. Flipped back out to center. Prowlers getting a little bit of pressure here. Still unable to solve Trevor Babin, at least yet. 7 minutes to go in the opening period. Comes to Freeborn. Tried to drop it off to Graham. Comes back to Liam Freeborn. He couldn't find Dalton J going to the net, so the Rockers begin a counterattack. Elias Thompson was the one who got it deep. Perks on it. Here's Tim Perks. Backhands it towards the slot. Perks recollects again on the far half wall. Jay took it from him. And the Prowlers get it back to Motor City Ice, and they make a change. As Elias Thompson heading to his bench and Matt Graham came together. Both were heading to the bench. Here's Gaudette with a quick shot off the outside of the net. Pops out in front. Vartiainen rescues it for the Prowlers. Flips it out. Klauston gloves it down. Now Vartiainen again. Goes to the point, Rotundi. Cut off by Vartiainen. Sends Sam Gagnon on his way. Gagnon cuts in, takes the shot, save the rebound. They score! Larry Vartiainen on the rebound chance, and the Prowlers have cut the lead in half. Well, puck's on net for the Port Huron Prowlers. Sam Gagnon got it there, and the rebound was juicy for Larry Vartiainen. And the Prowlers get themselves on the board with 5:51 to go in this opening period. So off the draw, Prowlers get it back in. Left for Rotundi behind the net. Larry Vartiainen gets his 11th goal of the season. And he gives the Prowlers some life here in this first period. Rotundi out, and Schumacher feeds it back to Minnie. Gino Minnie out of the penalty box after serving his 5 minutes for fighting. Tommy Cardinal did not return to the ice as he was given a game misconduct. Here's Merritt into the zone. His shot, this time gloved and held by Trevor Babin. Not risking a rebound. .5:10 to go, first period. Prowlers have the last one as they get themselves back within one on the first game of the day in the FPHL on New Year's Eve. Here's Johnson wristing it on. Save made by Babin. And it's chopped to center. Johnson curling away. Ran into Giuliano at the red line. Able to get past him. Perks has it in his own end, gaining speed. Tim Perks gets through a couple of Prowlers. Perks around Parsons. Perks tried to put it in front, and Alex Johnson made a wall there to prevent that centering pass. White back in, stops up, puts it towards the net, and Perks looking for the rebound. The net is off its moorings, and that, I think Rodrigue did get a save on Tim Perks there, but either way, we have a whistle with 4:32 to go in the first period, and we will take our final timeout of the period. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
back here in Fraser, 2-1 our score, as the Port Huron Prowlers got themselves back within one against the Motor City Rockers. Will Wiggleman with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel, spending the final hours of 2022 here at Big Boy Arena. And the Prowlers will spend the final hours of 2022 on the bus to Baton Rouge, Louisiana later tonight, as they have to face the Mississippi Seawolves on Monday at 8 o'clock. That will be right here on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. If you haven't already, go check out the specialty jerseys they're wearing for that game. It's reposted on the Prowlers social medias. Most notably, it should be there on the Facebook, on the Prowlers Facebook. Go check those out. You can bid on the game-worn jerseys, but they look great. Should be another good time for the Prowlers in Baton Rouge, they'll try and pick up a 6-game season sweep of the Mississippi Seawolves, as looks like we have two players heading to the box here. Matt Graham and Roman Gaudette got a little too rough as they were going back and forth with the pushing and the shoving and chatting. So they both will get a couple of minutes to cool down in the penalty box. So 4-on-4 hockey is what we have here, as Devaney and Koash step up for the face-off. Schumacher retreats. Minnie back up to Frank Schumacher. He's in with speed. Tried to feed the slot. Too far ahead of Vartiainen. Rockers come the other way. It's Bartlett dancing around Minnie, but Gino Minnie got enough of the body. Now Vartiainen got it past Suffredini. Here's Larry into the zone. Left it behind though. And now behind his own net is Dante Suffredini. He leaves it for Josh Colton. 40 seconds into the 4-on-4. Koash drops it off for Ryder. Gets through center, gains the Prowler line. And he goes down. Federley all the way across towards Merritt, out of his reach. And icing is called against the Prowlers. About halfway through the 4-on-4, 3:08 to go in period number 1. Will Wiggleman, your play-by-play broadcaster and your cameraman tonight from the Motor City. Ryder chasing after that puck in the corner. He has it. Here's Brad Ryder looking to go in front to Perks, and he just couldn't get a good shot on as Dustin Henning was all over him. Henning ridden off by Ryder. Federley looking for it in the linesman's skates. Eventually it comes back towards McGill Diaz. Now Colton. Josh Colton. Puck flipped high up in the air. Colton gets it back. Colton pulls up. Fed it all the way across to Perks. Goes back down low to Colton. He was pushed off. And now Johnson. 15 seconds left until Graham and Gaudette exit the box. Dalton J catching up to a headman feed. Koash recovers in his own zone. Here come the Rockers as we're back to 5-on-5. Perks over the line. Tim Perks shoved into the wall by Hainzel. Gaudette pulls it out of the scrum. Taken down by Minnie behind the net. Another scrum ensuing along the wall. And it pops back out to center. Suffredini on it with 1:40 to go in the opening period. Minnie gets it right back Flips it high and out. Suffredini knocks it down with the glove. A couple of Prowlers converge on him. Now Hainzel harassed by Koash. He'll go behind his own net. And then Koash threw a hit on Adam Hainzel. Puck back into that corner. Bartlett tried to feed the front of the net. Conway muscled off by Minnie. And now Koash and Hainzel going after each other behind the net. Are they going to drop the gloves? Koash's gloves are down. Hainzel still has his stick, and now he drops the gloves and throws a right. Adam Hainzel misses on a right. Koash trying to pull him down to the ice. Hainzel still has his left glove on, but he's throwing with his right hand, and both players just wrestling each other down. And the linesman will break them up. So Hainzel pumping up the crowd here as he heads to the box, and now some more activity in the Prowlers' end as a brouhaha ensues. Minnie and Conway at the middle of it. Joe Devaney in there as well. And everyone's separated from that. It looks like Minnie and Conway will join their teammates in the penalty boxes. Not Evan Foley and Vaughn Clouston head over to check out what's going on from the referees. Of course, not Evan Foley is Prowlers captain Dustin Heading, who seemed to grab the wrong jersey earlier today. Right now, no penalties up yet that we see on our monitor here, although up on the big board, number 44, Declan Conway, and number 62, Gino Minnie, up on their respective sides of the scoreboards, 2 minutes apiece. And then, of course, Hainzel and Koash will get the 5 minutes for fighting. But at least if you're the Prowlers, I guess you take off the top 2 point getters for the Rockers, at least for the next 2 minutes. As again, Conway is 2 minutes. He's second on the Rockers in points right now with 21, and then Koash leads the team with 22. Here's Suffredini, poked off Ryder's stick at the line. 4-on-4 again for the second time this period. Here's Devaney, cycles it to Vartiainen. Larry turning away from Suffredini. Tried to come out in front, lost the handle momentarily. He goes down to Devaney. Off the side of the cage. Frank Schumacher pinching in, couldn't get it. Now he stole it away from Ryder, but it's poked off his stick out to center. 33 seconds to go in the opening period as Devaney's back in. Schumacher tried to drop it off. Now Devaney looking for Johnson at the point. Instead, Giuliano took it away. 20 seconds left in the period as Giuliano dumps it in. Johnson looking for one last rush. They'll have to get started soon because there's only 8 seconds left on the clock. Now he gives it up to Matt Graham, who gets by. Here's Graham with a last-second chance, and Babin may have gotten a pad on Matt Graham's opportunity. He wanted to feed it over to Sam Merritt, but it came right back to him. He just put it on net, but unfortunately for Matt Graham, unable to tie the score before we head to the locker rooms for the first intermission here at Big Boy Arena. 2-1 our score as the Rockers scored the first 2 goals early in this game. It was 2-0 with 5:23 into the opening period. Larry Vartiainen got one back, and that's where we stand. Again, as we head into the first intermission here from Big Boy Arena, the Prowlers and the Rockers on New Year's Eve. Well, didn't get what you wanted this holiday season? The Port Huron Prowlers team store has what you need. Located on the west end of McMorran Arena, the store is open every home game all season long, featuring hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, koozies, and more. Rep your team in style with gear from the Prowlers team store. We've hit the first intermission here at Big Boy Arena, and the Prowlers trail by 1. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel. Prowlers and Rockers set to get back onto the ice in just a few minutes for the start of period 2. And right now it's Motor City with a 2-1 lead over the Port Huron Prowlers. Will Wiggleman with you here tonight. And let's take you back through that opening period. But before we do, just want to give a shout out to Phyllis Lamb, who I was asked to shout out, another big Prowlers fan. And we're happy to have her and everyone watching tonight's live stream. Well, this is one of 5 games in the FPHL tonight. None of the other ones have started yet. Watertown is in Binghamton coming up at 5. Danbury is in Delaware at 7. Mississippi visits Columbus at 7:30. And Elmira is down in Carolina. That game drops the puck at 8:35 tonight. Well, the Rockers got going early. Roman Gaudette with a beautiful move. Ended up tucking it around Danik Rodrigue just about under 2 minutes into the opening period. That made it 1-0 Motor City. Tim Perks added to it just a few minutes later, and it was 2-0 Rockers before we hit the first TV timeout. Larry Vartiainen was able to get one back, though, as Sam Gagnon put the puck on net. Rebound popped all the way out to Vartiainen, and he was able to put it home. We also saw a couple of fights in that opening period. Tommy Cardinal and Gino Mini went at it. And then later in the frame, Cardinal ended up getting a game misconduct after that, by the way. And then in the final minute 4 or so, Adam Hansel and Scott Koch dropped the mitts. Gino Mini and Declan Conway also ended up with unsportsmanlike conduct penalties after they were involved in a scrum immediately following that fight. And they're still going to be in the box and we'll have 4-on-4 action when we start this middle period. Shots on goal in that opening period, 15 for the Prowlers, 8 for the Motor City Rockers. Well, we'll have second period action for you right here on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel when we return.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
Will Wiggleman, your play-by-play broadcaster and cameraman tonight. Back here with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Thanks so much for joining us. We will have 4-on-4 action for the first 56 seconds of this second period, with Gino Mini and Declan Conway serving unsportsmanlike conduct minor penalties. They're joined in there by Adam Hazel and Scott Koash after their fight that occurred right before the unsportsmanlike conduct penalties came down. Puck down, we're underway. Austin Federley has to go recollect his stick, and he's in perfect defensive position to help with that that rush. Federally moving back to defense, at least for this shift. Although Prowlers already shorthanded in this game, coming in with 9 forwards and 6 defensemen. Puck batted down with a high stick. Oh no, it's going to be a high sticking penalty to Derek Makama. So the Prowlers will have a 4-on-3 power play with Makama heading to the box. So Derek Makama heads off the ice. Prowlers to a 4-on-3 power play. They won't change up anybody as it's still Federley, Devaney, Johnson, and Vartiainen out there. 27 seconds left in the 4-on-3, then it will be 5-on-4. Devaney back in. Stops up. Walks down the wall. Federley over to Johnson. Now Austin Federley again. Johnson, cross Vartiainen, the one-timer. Good save from Babin. And it's cleared all the way down. Alex Johnson from behind the net, up to Federley, drops it off Vartiainen into the zone. Puck's on the left half wall, comes out to Federley, over to Devaney. Now to Vartiainen, couldn't kick it up to his stick. Ryder gets it all the way back down. Past the halfway point of the Prowlers power play, it's now a 5-on-4 man advantage. Merritt across to Liam Freeborn. Here's Freeborn, drops it off. Schumacher fed to the near side, and the quick shot from Dalton J is scooped up by Trevor Babin. We apologize for the people blocking our camera. This is the only angle that has been made available to us here in Fraser, as it's dumped all the way back down. And actually, you guys can see more than I can. I'm actually a little bit shorter than the camera is right now. So you guys actually have a slightly better view than I do when I'm not looking straight at the monitor here. Here's Gaudette. Drops it off to Bartlett. His shot blocked. And Graham able to move it the other way. Here's Jay into the zone. Dalton Jay stops up, tried to put it on the net. Freeborn recovers behind the cage, but he sent it all the way out. Split Johnson and Merritt. And the Rockers back to even strength as Alex Johnson takes it from his goaltender, Danik Rodrigue. Freeborn up to Vartiainen off his stick. Now Bartlett feeds it up. Here's White with a shot. Saved by Rodrigue. Prowlers trying to walk the line here, but offsides is called with 17:10 to go in the second period. So another Prowlers power play comes and goes without a goal. They had power play struggles earlier in the season, and those struggles seem to be returning. As it's flipped in, of course, missing Evan Foley is a bit of a blow to the power play, as he's always an important piece of that man advantage. All the way across, Gagnon in there with Giuliano. It squirts out to Vartiainen. Down low, Gagnon cycles it deep, comes all the way around to the near side. Heading was in deep. Rockers trying to work it out on the near side boards. Devaney behind the net. Tried the Michigan. Oh my goodness! Joe Devaney just pulled off the backhanded Michigan in the FPHL's Michigan rivalry. What a way to tie the score. Joe Devaney, we knew he had hands, but oh my goodness, that has to be the best goal in the FPHL so far this year. Wow. Oh my goodness, Joe Devaney with the goal of the year candidate. Ross Bartlett is heading to the box. Bartlett and Schumacher having some words as Bartlett steps in there. But that is secondary. Prowlers will go back to the power play. So they get the goal of the year in the FPHL so far and a power play out of it. It's Joe Devaney's 16th of the season and his prettiest for sure. Wow. And here's Rotundi. Comes out in front. Jay chopping at it. It's in the crease. And they score again. It looked like Ryder may have put it in his own net as Matt Graham was bearing down on him. And the Prowlers take a 3-2 lead. Two quick goals for Port Huron. As the puck was sitting there in the crease, Babin couldn't find it. It was behind him. And the Rockers were trying to get it out of there. Matt Graham was bearing down. I think the Rockers did put it in their own net. So a couple of quick goals for the Prowlers. And they have their first lead of the game. Comes in. Rodrigue able to shoulder it away. Heading up the boards. So the power play goal for the Prowlers makes it 3-2 now and flips this game on its head. Freeborn over to Schumacher. Now up to Dustin Henning. He flips it softly to the near side corner. Comes all the way around. Freeborn pokes it out. Here's Jay, and his shot snagged by Babin, and he will hold on. 15:20 to go in the second period. It's one back, but between Johnson and Parsons. Now comes up to Federley, rims it in. Battled for on the near side boards. And here's Bartlett chasing after that puck. Federley got there ahead of him. Bartlett comes out to Merritt. His shot skies past the net. Here's Bartlett again. His shot blocked. Prowlers looking to go the other way, but it's kept in. Now Merritt dumps it in. Suffredini on it. And Dante Suffredini feeds it over to Ian White. Here's Minnie to Gagnon. Sam Gagnon dumps it in, goes after it himself. And he's taken out by Miguel Diaz. Minnie at the point. His rising shot caught the glass. Comes around to Minnie. Wrists it on, deflected by Vartiainen. Now Gagnon tried to put it in front. Here's Vartiainen over to Minnie. Gagnon with another shot that was blocked on the way through. 13:45 to go in this period. Flips in towards Rodrigue and knocked it down, and then it fell right into the crease. But Danik Rodrigue will hold on with 13:35 to go in the middle frame. Prowlers have taken the lead. Goals from Joe Devaney and Matt Graham. And Port Huron is on top as we head to break. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
We've tried raising the camera just a little bit here, and hopefully that will help. As the Prowlers have taken a 3-2 lead, they have helped themselves with a couple of goals. Joe Devaney with a goal of the year candidate. And it might be a no contest after Devaney pulled off the backhanded Michigan. Matt Graham crashed the net just seconds later, and the Prowlers have their first lead of the night. Dalton J gets it back, took the shot, and Babin made the save. It's all the way back to the Prowlers zone. Here's Dustin Henning, tipped along to Graham, drops it off to Jay. Over, that shot shouldered off by Babin. Freeborn shot, kick save by Babin. The rebound lays there on Babin's pad. It's still loose, and it comes to the corner. Prowlers with all kinds of pressure, and Trevor Babin is keeping his team in it right now. Here's Freeborn back in. Liam Freeborn trying to dance through everybody. That didn't work. Schumacher takes it. His wrist shot was blocked. Now Giuliano back out to center. Comes all the way back down to Rocker Ice. Icing waved off. Miguel Diaz reverses to Colton. Here's Josh Colton. Gives it across. Puck loose in front of the Prowlers bench. It goes all the way back to the far side. Here's Gaudette to Makama. And it flips high and out of play with 12:09 to go in the second period. And the Prowlers holding on to a 3-2 lead. And for Matt Graham, that was his 10th goal of the season and point number 401 of his FPHL career. Merritt speeds in, took the shot off of White. Koash up the board. Schumacher has it there. Deflected by Federley out of the air, but unable to get it on the cage. Comes to the point. Quick shot by Minnie, gobbled up by Babin, and he will hold on for a whistle. 11:44 to go in the second period. Prowlers looking for more. They have been all over the Rockers in this frame. 11-1 are the shots in favor of Port Huron this period. Vartiainen up top, Johnson wrists it off of Bartlett. Parsons able to keep it deep. Suffredini over to Conway. 2-on-2 rush as they move up. Conway drops it off to Bartlett. Ross Bartlett to the net. Saved by Rodrigue. And a couple more whacks there from Conway. Rodrigue finally able to cover up. 11:18 to go in the second period. And Danik Rodrigue making a couple of saves, staying sharp after only seeing one shot prior to that opportunity in this second period. Puck in that corner there. Johnson able to wrestle it away from Elias Thompson. And now Gagnon stops up, knocked down, and he shoves it deep. Giuliano flips it high and out. Henning gloves it down at his own line. Here's Dalton J with some space, looking for that top corner, and Babin got the knob of the stick on it. Here's Perks. Sent right back out by the Prowlers. Suffredini in his own end. Jay got a stick on that pass. Giuliano came back to rescue it for Motor City. 10.5 to go in this second period. Hainsel rims it around in Henning's direction. He keeps it going to Dalton J. Now feeds over to the near side, out of Freeborn's reach. Pass to Perks was behind him. So now Gaudette. Rotondi around to Clouston. Back to Ryan Rotondi. And again, near side, Vaughn Clouston. That one took a funny hop off the boards. Merritt first to take it. Chartrand looking up. Here's Henning into the zone. Dustin Henning with a shot. And then blocked by a sliding Ryan Rotondi. Freeborn out top, Henning over to Merritt. Merritt to Mitty, the one-timer, caught the iron. Comes back over towards Merritt. He cycles it deep to Federley. Chartrand on the wraparound try, and Babin has it. And he will hold on for a whistle. 9:21 to go in the second period. A great opportunity there for Dan Chartrand on the wraparound. Trevor Babin standing tall to keep his team in this one. You are watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
Three-two Prowlers with 9:21 to go in the second period here at Big Boy Arena in Fraser, Michigan. The final game of the calendar year 2022 for the Prowlers and the Rockers, a New Year's Eve matinee. You are watching it here on the Prowlers YouTube channel. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. Prowlers had the only 2 goals of this middle frame, and it is a 3-2 lead for Port Huron. Offensive zone draw coming for the Prowlers as Dan Chartrand was bidding for his 4th goal this season. Gino Mini rang the iron just about 30 seconds before that. It's been all Prowlers for the majority of this second period. Here's Chartrand putting it deep to Merritt. Over to Federley, across to the front of the net, and Miguel Diaz able to deflect it away from Dan Chartrand. Shot from the point, stopped by Babin with Chartrand in front and Federley crashing for that rebound. Here's Miguel Diaz, up to Bartlett, looking for the cross-ice feed to Conway. That was intercepted neatly by Sam Gagnon, and that whistle is for offsides as Koash was flying in on the forecheck and touched that puck before the Rockers had fully come out of the zone. 8:51 to go in the second period. Face-off coming just outside of the Prowlers' end. It's Devaney and Perks to take it. Joe Devaney wins it forward. Now Vartiainen gets it in. Now Parsons with a wrist shot goes to the far corner. Parsons again, wrists it on, deflected, and the save by Babin as he got it right in the breadbasket. Vartiainen, or Devaney, and Gagnon were there looking for the tip. I think it was Joe Devaney's backhand that ended up getting the touch. But a good shot from Brian Parsons getting them through. Something he does pretty well, Brian Parsons. Not a guy who's going to put up a ton of points, no goals yet this season. But he does get those shots to the net through any kind of traffic typically. Devaney with a good steal, he scores! Second of the period for Joe Devaney, a steal and score. Prowlers up by 2. Well, it wasn't as pretty as his first, but that one's tough to top. But Joe Devaney absolutely picking the corner on Trevor Babin after intercepting an outlet pass. And that was a dangerous pass. It was Brad Reiter who was making that pass. That's exactly what they teach you very young as a hockey player. Don't make those kinds of passes across your defensive zone. Brad Reiter did it, and Joe Devaney made him pay. Rockers looking for an answer. 4th straight goal for the Prowlers. As Rodrigue plays it around to the near side. Pops out to center. Bartlett stops up on the boards. Comes back to Prowler territory. Alex Johnson with it. Stops behind his own net. 7:45 to go in this second period. Couldn't get past White at the point. Now here's Conway with a shot. Save the rebound. And Bartlett was chasing for it. It popped right out near him, but he couldn't get a stick on it. Johnson on the counter. And his pass down low was blocked by White. Alex Johnson didn't see that puck coming as he was heading to the bench, or else he would have had an opportunity to keep it in the zone. Instead, Hainsel able to get over to Henning. Here's Henning, drops it off. Merritt with a shot, save by Babin with the shoulder. The H pair for the Prowlers out there, Hainsel and Henning, as Dustin Henning backhanded that puck out of play. It may have hit the glass as well, but either way, the faceoff will stay in Rocker territory. 7:03 to go in the second period. The H&H D pairing here for the Prowlers. Dustin Henning and Adam Hainsel. Giuliano up to Thompson. And yes, I'm making that a thing now. The H&H D pairing as Federley with a good steal in the offensive end. It's all the way over. Here's Hainsel. Lines and fires. Comes all the way around to Henning. Adam Hainsel just missed the net. Rotundi settles down the puck that was on edge. Perks able to get it to center, and he dumps it in. Elias Thompson in the corner. Henning to Federley. Hainsel gives it to Merritt. Sam Merritt into the offensive end, looking for a Chartrand on the far side. Tim Perks swoops in to intercept. 6:10 to go in the period. It's flipped out to center. Federley took that puck up high. He tried to glove it down, but instead it hit him in the face. And Austin Federley will head to the bench. Bit of a tough play there for him. There's also a penalty coming against the Prowlers. Sam Merritt heads to the box, 2 minutes for slashing. So the Prowlers have to send out the PK unit again with 6:06 to go in the second period. And a chance for Motor City to get some life back. They've been outshot 18-4 in this second period. It's been all Prowlers. Suffredini curls back, gives to Bartlett at the point. Back down low to Dante Suffredini. All the way across. White had it jump over his stick. Here's Bartlett again. Bartlett walks to the slot. White all the way across. Koash had it go through him, and Dalton J clears it down. Here's Koash, giving it off to White. Now Suffredini back to White, excuse me. Koash into the zone. Drops it off, Suffredini. Now Koash has it again in the corner. Declan Conway behind the net. Up top, Suffredini. Federley cut that one off. Prowlers are going to get another penalty as Gino Mini threw a hit. And now Conway and Mini will go at it at center. Mini getting some rights in on Conway. Conway trying to answer. Mini with a couple of uppercuts. Gino Mini throwing some good shots in there, trying to get Conway's jersey over his head. And now Conway looked like he tried a little bit of a headbutt there to the chin of Mini, and they step in as a rocker is down and hasn't moved since that hit was thrown. I didn't see who that was. He's down and talking to the training staff in that corner. We won't show it to you. But Mini and Conway, looks like they will both head to the locker rooms. That player over there, again an unidentified rocker, is still down flat on the ice and discussing and being talked to by the training staff. That rocker has lifted his head up off the ice. I believe it's Scott Koash. So Gino Mini was the one who threw the hit. Koash, again, has not really moved as he's now getting himself back to his knees and now to his feet over there in the Prowlers zone. And it is Scott Koash who's doubled over but heading to the Rockers bench. And Declan Conway ended up answering the bell on Gino Mini after that hit was thrown. It was a hard hit from Gino Mini as Koash was going up that right wing side, or that, yes, left wing if you're looking offensively for the Rockers. And Koash had just stopped up in the zone, and Mini stopped up in the zone. Mini threw the first hit on him. And then Mini came in and really anticipated where that puck was coming. And Koash just down in a heap on the ice. After that hit, he's back to the bench. As I'm checking out the replay on our broadcast. So we're back to hockey now. No extra penalties up on the scoreboard here. We'll let you know as soon as any come in, as Reuter able to beat Danik Rodrigue from the slot. A power play goal for the Rockers, and they are back within one with 4:54 to go in the second period. That one just slipped through Danik Rodrigue. under the pad as Ryder shot against the grain. So power play goal for Brad Ryder and the Motor City Rockers. Make it a 1-goal game again. It looks like the referees seem to think we were going to break, but you don't typically do that after a goal, so now they'll drop the puck. As Henning gives it up towards Matt Graham, and Jay dumps it in. Ringed around to the near side. Here's Jay, put it on, and Babin makes the easy save. And now we will take a timeout. Lots of fireworks in this second period, and the Prowlers are up by 1. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
.438 to go in the second period, and the Motor City Rockers have just pulled themselves within 1. It was a power play goal from Brad Ryder. And I've just been informed that along with the 5-minute majors for fighting, both Gino Mini and Declan Conway were given game misconducts. So they will not return tonight. Tommy Cardinal already given a game misconduct for the Motor City Rockers. And it looks like the Rockers and the Prowlers will continue this game with the same number of players. Prowlers were already down to 9 forwards and 6 defensemen when we started this game. And now they're down to 9 forwards and 5 defensemen. Meanwhile, the Rockers down to 8 forwards and 6 defensemen. Parsons. And now we have another fight going as Elias Thompson is absolutely teeing off on Matt Graham. I don't think Graham really had any interest in this fight. Thompson just took off his gloves, grabbed Matt Graham, and started throwing. I really don't think this is a fight that Matt Graham cared to be involved in. As Graham took the draw, Thompson went right over to him from his wing side, took off his gloves and started throwing. And now Vaughn Clouston and Brian Parsons having some words. Jay and Rotundi tying each other up now as well. Things are getting nasty in the Battle of I-94. As Graham and Thompson are headed to the penalty boxes. See if anybody else goes or if anything pops up on the board. If Matt Graham does get 5 minutes for fighting, I mean, he really did not get anything for it. He didn't even take off his gloves as Thompson just grabbed him off the draw and started throwing. Matt Graham didn't even get his gloves off. Two representatives from each side over there at the penalty box. And one of those representatives for the Rockers actually heads into the box. It's Vaughn Clouston. So maybe he picks up an extra penalty for going after Brian Parsons after that play ended. Parsons is over on the Prowler bench. Ian White and Dalton Jay are their team's representatives at the moment. Of course, Dustin Henning without a letter on his jersey tonight, the Prowlers captain, wearing Evan Foley's 94 jersey. Liam Freeborn is wearing Vinny DeCombus's 23 tonight. And the Prowlers, luckily for the Prowlers, they won't have to worry all that much about different whatever jerseys they have right now on Monday in Baton Rouge, because specialty jerseys will be worn for that game, and those jerseys are already down there and set to go. So they seem to be all set to go, as a full forward line is coming out for the Prowlers. So it's at least going to be 5 for Port Huron. Alvon Clouston has been given 5 minutes, and he's heading to the locker room. Elias Thompson already headed to the locker room. And I'm not sure if that's just because there was under 5 minutes to play in this period, but there are 5 minutes up on the board for Vaughn Clouston, so he's getting a 5-minute major. Ross Bartlett over there to serve it, so the Prowlers are on a power play for the next 5 minutes. And they can score as many times as they like, as we saw against the Columbus River Dragons just a couple weeks ago. They scored 5 goals on a 5-minute power play to get themselves a victory over the FPHL's top team. Ryder picks it off at center. Here's White with it. He's got his head up and he sends it down as far as Austin Federley. Federley drops it off to Vartiainen. His pass goes off a stick and flies out of play. So 5 for fighting each for Matt Graham and Elias Thompson. And now Ross Bartlett's just heading to the dressing room away from the Motor City penalty box just because he can, I guess, and because he knows he won't be escaping the box at any point for the rest of this period. Bartlett serving Clouston's 5-minute major. Here's Scott Koash, back after taking the big hit from Gino Mini earlier, as Rodrigue has to defend a short-handed opportunity from Roman Gaudet, and he hangs on. We'll let you know as soon as the penalties come down here exactly what we have. They haven't appeared here on my monitor yet. Koash and Devaney getting set to draw on the Prowlers' end as they're just double checking some things in the scorekeeper's box. Federley up to Schumacher. There's Frank Schumacher splitting the D, and he's taken down, and arms stay down from the referees. Devaney all the way up to Federley at the red line. Drops it back to Vartiainen. Larry gets it all the way around. Here's Devaney. Chartrand tried to cycle down low towards Devaney. That was cut off and cleared by White. Alex Johnson up to Federley. 3:12 to go in this second period. The power play will extend to the third no matter what happens. As Johnson drops it off to Federley. Johnson again, all the way across Vartiainen. Back up top, Federley to Johnson. Federley again. Tried to go across to Vartiainen. Koash got his stick in the lane. Larry sauces it to the near side. Alex Johnson has it again. Prowler's not getting too much to the net here on this power play. Just playing with it up top as Johnson goes over to Freeborn. He takes the shot. And that one don't think it got on net. As Johnson goes down low to Jay. Up to Freeborn. Johnson to Jay. Tried the one-time shot. Colton got there to disrupt it. Gagnon in there to cause some havoc, and Prowlers get the puck back. 2:10 to go in the period as Johnson's quick shot is stopped by Babin at the last second. Freeborn walks in, back to Johnson. He fires and he scores! Alex Johnson power play goal, and the Prowlers restore the 2-goal advantage. So the Prowlers get one on this power play. Still 2:24 of man advantage time to work with. With a minute 59 to go in the period. So currently on my monitor, as far as the penalties go, it says Matt Graham 2 minutes for roughing, and then Elias Thompson 5 minutes for fighting. I still haven't seen anything about Vaughn Clouston yet. Here's Devaney into the offensive end. Back to the point, Schumacher. Federley back to Frank Schumacher. Down to Devaney, tried to put it in front. Colton cut it off, but then Schumacher's able to keep it in the zone. Colton's able to take that pass away from Federley and dump it all the way down. A minute 24 to go in the second period. Sharkdrand. Battle for on the near side boards. Merritt up towards Federley. Tried to chop it towards the cage. It's gloved down by Giuliano. Second chance opportunity. Gets it down to Prowler ice. So here's Graham. That's not Matt Graham. That is Matt Graham. So he served his 2 minutes. He's back on the power play. Here's DeCumbus over to Johnson. His shot comes off the lively backboards, right to Giuliano. 37 seconds to go in the period as Jonathan Giuliano steps in onside. Suffredini stretching to make sure it stayed on. Jay into the zone. Power move, put it on. Babin the save. Jay put it back on. It's loose there, and Merritt couldn't get it to go. Johnson again with 15. Keeps it in. Now Merritt all the way across. Comes back to the near side boards and hammered down by Ian White. 3 seconds left, and Alex Johnson will just keep it there. And the Port Huron Prowlers get 4 goals in this second period to head to the locker room with a 5-3 lead over the Motor City Rockers. Shots on goal in that second period, 22 for the Prowlers, just 6 for Motor City in that frame. But for the Prowlers, they get 4 goals to make it to take a 2-goal lead into the third period. Well, it's going to be a good one. Plenty of fights, plenty of goals. It's going to be a great third period to end off the calendar year 2022, and we hope you stick around for it coming up soon on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. But first, the second intermission. Well, secure your seats for the Prowlers' next home game as they take on the Motor City Rockers on Saturday, January 14th, with puck drop at McMorran Place scheduled for 6:05 p.m. It's a Casey's Kids Zone night, and fans can skate with the team after the game. Tickets are available online at phprowlers.com/tickets or by calling the box office at 810-985-6166. That's online at phprowlers.com/tickets or by phone at 810-985-6166. Second intermission underway here in an entertaining one from Fraser. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel. Back here in Fraser, 5 3-hour score through 2 periods of play. Will Wiggleman with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. And let's see what we can do about unpacking that second period, shall we? It was a 4-goal period for the Prowlers. They scored 4 straight goals, not all in that period, but Joe Devaney hit a backhanded Michigan to start the period, and then just 11 seconds later, Matt Graham gave the Prowlers their first lead of the evening, or of the afternoon, I should say. Devaney scored again later in the frame. It was 4-2 Prowlers. Brad Reiter got one back on the power play, and then Alex Johnson responded with a power play goal of his own with 1:59 to go in the period. So those are the goals. Now we work on the penalties. And I'm going to forget about the little, 2-minute minors that resulted in quick power plays. We can skip over those. And we start with Gino Mini getting a boarding penalty on a hit he threw on Scott Koash in the Prowlers' end. Mini ends up with a 5-minute boarding major. Declan Conway came in to challenge Gino Mini. They dropped the mitts, so 5 each for them. Again, Mini with a boarding major. Conway got a 5-minute headbutting major. So all of those penalties offset. So that didn't change on-ice manpower at all. And both Gino Mini and Declan Conway ended up with game misconducts. And then less than a minute later, Elias Thompson dropped the gloves, and Matt Graham didn't exactly drop the gloves off of the faceoff. Thompson grabbed Graham. They exchanged words for a second, but didn't seem on the same page about whether or not they were going to fight. Elias Thompson started wailing on Matt Graham. He got some good punches in. Matt Graham hung in there. But that ended up as Thompson and Graham getting 2 minutes for roughing each. Thompson got an extra 5 for fighting. And then after that whole incident, as Thompson and Graham were being escorted to the penalty boxes, Vaughn Clouston got in Brian Parsons' face, and Clouston ended up going to the dressing room with a 10-minute unsportsmanlike conduct. But he only went to the dressing room because there was less than 10 minutes left in the period. So I believe he should be coming back onto the ice, or at least going into the penalty box to serve the rest of his time. And that was the chaotic second period of play here from Big Boy Arena. I've watched hockey for years, and we'll see if the Prowlers are able to continue this game and finish it off with a victory as both teams take the ice. "20 minutes up on the scoreboard for the third period. Prowlers will still be on a power play for the next 25 seconds as Vaughn Clouston and Elias Thompson are in the box. Thompson will come out in 25 seconds. Clouston still has some time to serve on his 10-minute misconduct, but that does not affect on-ice manpower. So it's flipped all the way down to Prowler ice, and we are underway in this third period. Parsons through center. So up the boards into the zone. Devaney reached out for it, but the Prowlers seem to be offsides. 7 seconds left on the man advantage for Port Huron. And Ross Bartlett's heading back over to the penalty box. Let me just turn off the camera, see if we can fix this red tint that we seem to have. Oh, there we go. Looks better. At least this time I was able to turn off the camera between plays and not during plays. It likes to do sometimes. Devaney wins the puck all the way back into his own end. So Bartlett will come out in a few seconds as Thompson still has some time to serve because he got an extra penalty. That was originally a rough. I believe it's since been changed to an instigator against Elias Thompson. Meanwhile, the Prowlers have iced the puck. We're back to 5-on-5. And we'll see if we can get somewhat of a hockey game going here in this third period. Rockers have 67 minutes in penalties so far tonight. Prowlers have 38. The shot from the point comes in, and batting at it was Giuliano. Now White plays it off of Devaney. Devaney trying to get it back out to center. White kept it in momentarily. Now Parsons. Devaney able to get it in, and he'll head off for a change. Here's White with it again. His pass gets through its intended target and all the way down for an icing. 56 seconds into period 3, and guess what? No penalties yet in this third period. Both teams have been good for the first minute. Merritt able to win the draw back. Here's Hainsel. Puts it all the way around to Federley behind the cage. Comes out in front, and then Federley got pushed up against the back of the net by Suffredini, and the net came off its moorings, so that's why the whistles blew there. Minute 5 into period 3, bit of a choppy start. As Sam Merritt had set to draw with Brad Ryder. Ryder able to win it back to Rotundi. All the way around towards Makama. Puck just squirts out of the zone. Chartrand recovers in his own end, feeds Dustin Henning. His pass cut off by Makima. Shot blocked up by Hainsel, and Makima on the second chance opportunity just pushed it wide. To a side scrum in the corner. Makima took a hit from Hainsel. Adam Hainsel seemed to take the brunt of that one. As Ryder feeds it over, Gaudette just whipped it on net. Colton off the bounce. Put it just wide. Moved up to Adam Hainsel. Hainsel puts it in. Knocked down by Babin, and he will cover up. With 18:03 to go in the third period, Elias Thompson has been released from the sin bin. Face-off comes to Schumacher at the point. He rims it down towards Rotundi. Around this side, Alex Johnson. Off the glass and deep. Rockers get back to center, but the headman feed to Bartlett was cut off neatly by Schumacher. Feed comes all the way up. Here's Perks into the zone. Tim Perks with a shot. Save made by Rodrigue. Johnson to Freeborn, wearing Vinny DeCumbus' number 23 jersey tonight. Liam Freeborn takes the puck back from Schumacher. Fed up to Johnson. Alex Johnson. Taken away by White. All the way up to Bartlett at the red line. He gets the Prowler blue, surrounded, and he's forced back to center ice. Here's Suffredini. Gets it Ryder. And his backhand try stopped by Rodrigue. Here's Makima dancing his way in front. And a good save by Rodrigue in tight. Rockers with good pressure early on in this period as Henning moves it up towards Gagnon. Here's Gaudet. Moved it up to Makama. Steps back, looks for another play. Headman feed comes up towards White. There's Devaney. Devaney all the way up. It hit a Rocker stick. Vartiainen trying to settle it down. Suffredini sends it to the near side boards. Now Suffredini chips it up this side again. Makima up to Gaudet. Gaudet to Ryder, and he rips it high over top of the net. Larry Vartiainen up to Joe Devaney. Into the zone, stops up, gets it deep. Ryder gives it to Elias Thompson, back to Brad Ryder. Thompson again. His shot stuck to Rodrigue, and he's able to cover up with 15:41 to go in the third period. Shots so far in this period, 3-1 in favor of the Motor City Rockers. As Bartlett feeds to the point to Colton. He wrists it on net. That just went wide. Rotundi back to Colton. Sent it up. It's deflected in. And icing waved off. Schumacher. Played off the boards and out. Merritt trying to skate into it. It was cut off by Rotundi. And now Bartlett. All the way across the near side. Rotundi put it on net. There's a couple of bodies down there at the side of the crease. That's where the puck ended up. Prowlers able to get it out. Merritt with speed to Chartrand. Put it on. And Babin blockers it away. Back out we go. Chartrand deflects it in. 5 minutes into period 3. As White. Parsons able to block it at center. Jay one-touched it over to Freeborn. Now Liam Freeborn back to Johnson. Up to Freeborn again. Liam Freeborn rims it all the way around in Jay's direction. Johnson has to retreat as Giuliano comes out with it, looking for McGill Diaz jumping into the play. Now Freeborn with it. Curls back, feeds it up towards Johnson. Graham looking to send Dalton Jay on his way, could not. And now Johnson feeds it up towards Freeborn. Devaney into the zone. Joe Devaney couldn't go around the net looking for the wraparound. He got taken out hard by Suffredini, and the arm went up for that one. And Joe Devaney still down there on the ice. Prowlers trainer Bridges Smith out there to tend to Joe Devaney, who's up to his knees. Well, Devaney was looking to go behind the net on that play, and Suffredini got enough of a piece of him. Now Joe Devaney skating back under his own power to the Prowlers bench. And now it's Giuliano heading into the box as the referees were, I guess, checking Joe Devaney for blood. Maybe a high sticking call is what's coming. We will see as the referees confer at the scorer's table. Well, the only other game in the PHL that will be going on during this one has just gotten underway between the between the Watertown Wolves and the Binghamton Black Bears. That puck just dropped. Elsewhere in sports, I know the big one for many of the Prowlers fans at home University of Michigan is trailing TCU 14-3 in the college football playoff semifinal, the Verbo Fiesta Bowl. So Michigan trying to head to the national championship game with a victory there. Prowlers just trying to get 3 points and get out with everybody alive and not suspended. Already a shorthanded group as far as on-ice manpower. And for Giuliano, he ends up with 4 minutes for double minor for high sticking. That's actually not Giuliano. He's serving it. They give it to Trevor Babin. So I guess Babin got enough of Devaney with his stick on the way by. So a 4-minute double minor for high sticking on Trevor Babin as Jay wrists one in. Save made by Babin. Very casual with it, but it popped out and Merritt couldn't beat him on the rebound. That puck sent all the way down. And now another high sticking call coming. This one it looks like against the Prowlers. Unless they're saying it was just batted down with a high stick, and I believe that is the call. So you say the puck was batted down with a high stick, and the faceoff will be in the Prowlers zone. Just 22 seconds into this power play for the Prowlers. 13:33 to go in the third period. You know, the Prowlers would like to get a nice 3-goal cushion if they can on this man advantage. Merritt dumps it in. Suffredini taken in by Graham. Now here's Dalton J. Off his stick. Makima looking for a shorthanded chance. Watched by Johnson. Here's Makima. Cuts to the front. And Alex Johnson will head to the penalty box. A hooking call coming. And we'll play 4-on-4 for the next 2 minutes. For the Prowlers, will go back on the power play for 1 minute and 13 seconds as they still have 3:13 left on the double minor to Trevor Babin. 13:07 to go in this third period. So Perks and Devaney set to draw as Parsons finds it in the corner. Moved up the boards towards Devaney. And now Joe Devaney. Through center. Walled off at the red line, so comes back to Parsons. Frank Schumacher up to Vartiainen, steps around Colton. Here's Larry in, backhand, saved by Babin, and the rebound squirts behind the net. Vartiainen again. Here's Parsons, looking for Larry on the near side boards. Vartiainen out top, Parsons to Schumacher, rips it on, and a good save from Babin, and he will hold on. 12:23 to go, third period, minute 17 left in 4-on-4. And Merritt, Federle, Parsons, and Schumacher are now the 4 for the Prowlers. Koash, Gaudette, Suffredini, and White for Motor City. Here's White. Stopped behind his own net. And now he steps out. Up to Koash. To the near side, Suffredini. Put it on, and a glove save by Rodrigue on that sharp angle try. So the defensive zone draw coming for the Prowlers. With a minute left in 4-on-4. And it comes right to Rodrigue. And we'll do it again. 12:05 to go in this third period. Prowlers still with a 2-goal lead. Schumacher able to get it past his man on defense. Frank Schumacher with speed. Saved by Babin. The rebound was poked just wide. And a hooking penalty is coming up against Motor City. And it looks like it will be 2 minutes instead of a penalty shot, but Frank Schumacher showing off his wheels. Got a good opportunity there. Ian White, the one headed to the box. NHL veteran Ian White, when he was in Detroit, he said on Travis Ridgen's podcast, a former Motor City goaltender who's recently put on long-term IR, he said on Ridgen's podcast that he was partnered up with Nick Lidstrom when he was here in Detroit playing in the NHL. That's a heck of a guy to be paired up with on defense. Exactly 2 minutes left on Babin's penalty, and now 2 minutes up for White. So it's funny how that just works out. So Prowlers will be 5-on-3 as soon as this 4-on-4 will be 5-on-3 as soon as this 4-on-3 stretch ends. When Alex Johnson steps out of the box. Here's Dustin Henning getting some power play work. Henning chips it by one man, goes after it. Dustin Henning behind the net. Taken in by McGill Diaz. Freeborn tried to feed the point. Sid Koash took it, starts to rush the other way. Here's Scott Koash with a shot. That whistled just wide. McGill Diaz chased down by Henning, and he'll just get it deep. Johnson 10 seconds from stepping out. Here's Dalton Jay. Jay through center, over to Graham. Back to Federley. It's a 5-on-3 for the Prowlers for the next minute 10. Here's Alex Johnson, fresh out of the box, over to Federley, the one-time blast. And a save by Babin with the pad. Federley again, Johnson. Ian Federley playing catch, and now they switch spots. Jay, cross, comes in front, and Matt Graham couldn't tuck that one home. And they Rockers get it out. 45 seconds left on the 5-on-3 for the Prowlers. Here's Federley. Federley steps around his man, gets to the slot, just couldn't pull the trigger. And now he'll slow things down as the Prowlers set up. Federley to Schumacher, one-timer, just way off on the sights there. As here's Johnson, tried to feed Merritt in front. Puck comes back out to center. And in Prowler ice, final 12 seconds ticking off the 5-on-3. Here's Merritt, poked off his stick, but right to Schumacher. Frank Schumacher drops it off. Vartiainen to Devanese, both Rockers out of the box. 5-on-5. Devaney swung and missed at a one-timer. Rodrigue flips it all the way up towards Schumacher. Here's Vartiainen, poked off his stick by Suffredini. And a big hit here in the near side court the crowd's reacting to. I can't really see what's going on in that corner. Seems to be, not sure if there's gloves off or not. Yet I actually don't even have as good of a view as you folks do at home. This camera's about a foot higher than I am right now. Looks like Dante Suffredini is headed to the box. I can at least tell that. And I'm not sure if it's for the hit or if it's for what transpired after the hit. 9:34 to go in this third period. And 2 minutes up on the board for Dante Suffredini. And we will take a timeout to figure all of this out with under 10 to play in the third period, and the Prowlers still with a 2-goal lead. You are watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
.934 to go, third period And the Port Huron Prowlers with a 5-3 lead over the Motor City Rockers. Will Wiggleman with you again on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. The Prowlers are going right back to the power play. It's Dante Suffreduni, 2 minutes for boarding. That is the call, as he took Larry Vartiainen in hard on the near side boards in the Rockers' end, which is the toughest part of the ice for me to see from the broadcast booth here in Fraser. We appreciate you all tuning into our game, probably on a side computer while you have the Michigan game up on the big TV, or if you've gotten a little bit frustrated with the maize and blue, you've come to watch your Port Huron Prowlers. Here's Merritt pulling up at the red line, turned it over, Makima into the zone, and Merritt on the good back check, able to keep Makima from getting an opportunity. Merritt has it again, this time in a straight line into the offensive zone. Johnson across to Jay. Back over to Freeborn. Tried to flip it on an area pass to Jay, but he was tied up. Puck squirts down low. Graham has it behind the net. Here's Johnson at the point to Freeborn. Graham in the corner, looking all the way across towards Jay. Timing just not right on that pass. Johnson curling away from Makima. Graham below the goal line. Tried to feed it in front. That didn't work. Merritt all the way up top to Johnson with 45 seconds left on the power play. Johnson with a shot that knocked down by Colton. It goes all the way back down. And Rodrigue holds on for Federley. Here's Schumacher. Frank Schumacher showing off the speed. His pass to Chartrand just didn't connect. All the way around to Devaney. Fed down low, now up top to Federley. Schumacher, final 13 seconds on the power play as Federley wristed one wide. I don't think Babin saw that at all until he heard it hit the backboards. Federley with the final seconds ticking off the power play. Vartiainen walks up top, just tried to put it down low. Koash cut it off, and he played it off of Suffredini's skate. And it's sent all the way to the far side. 7:22 to go in this third period. Rotundi able to tip it out. Comes into Prowler territory. Dustin Henning fresh off the bench. Off the boards and out. Here's Suffredini. Up to White. And now Bartlett. Couldn't dance his way through, but he gets the puck back. He enters Prowler territory. Bartlett sent an area pass all the way across. Koash couldn't catch up to it. And Suffredini winds and fires. That one deflected out of play behind the Prowler net. So we'll have another defensive zone faceoff for the Prowlers, as we are up to, I want to say 115 penalty minutes, if my math is correct, between these two teams. 115 penalty minutes between these two teams. Still 6:45 to go in the third. And Suffredini has it in his own end. Fed it up to White. Now up to Bartlett. His pass on, cut off by Hainsel. Jay with a nice move to get into the zone. Couldn't get it on net. White around the cage. Gaudette tried to chop it further. Now here's Ian White starting a rush. White. Hainsel threw a hit on him. Puck in the corner there. Adam Hainsel took down White. I think Hainsel's getting a penalty for this, as the puck was not there, and Adam Hainsel took down Ian White. So with 6:05 to go in the third, an opportunity for Motor City as Adam Hainsel's in the box. 2 minutes for interference is the call. So an important penalty kill here for the Prowlers. With a 2-goal lead, don't want to give Motor City any life here. Gaudette chases it down in the corner. Rockers set up. There's Makima with a shot, saved by Rodriguez. He looked behind him, but he had it in front, and he covers up. Danik Rodriguez doing the splits. And Merritt and Ryder skate in. Here's Parsons, sending it around. Gaudette up towards McGill Diaz. Back down to Roman Gaudette. This side, Colton. Down low to Makima. Walks up the boards, then cycles down to Ryder all the way across. What a save by Rodriguez! Danik Rodriguez absolutely robbing Roman Gaudette on the far post. Now Gaudette wrestles Alex Johnson to the ice. But Danik Rodriguez with the biggest save of the game with 5:32 to go in this third period. A back post play that Rodriguez was able to get with the glove. Gaudette snuck down Ryder with a perfect pass on his tape, and Danik Rodriguez got the glove on it. What a save. So a defensive zone draw coming for the Prowlers as Johnson and Gaudette both head into the penalty box after that scrum. Right now, 5-on-4, 5 Rockers and 4 Prowlers are out there. They did put the penalties up on the board, but I believe they're going to take them down. And now they do. So that won't affect on-ice manpower. Johnson and Gaudette sit for 2. And comes out to White. Koash to White. And now Safardini. Minute 20 to go on the 5-on-4. Bartlett's shot deflected on the way through. Rodriguez found it and dove out to make a second save. Safardini towards Bartlett. Koash tips it to the point. Safardini again walks down the wall. In front, Rodriguez able to poke it off of Giuliano's stick, and the Prowlers clear. A much-needed clear for Port Huron as we're halfway through the Adam Hainsel penalty. Safardini into the zone, dropped it off, nobody home, as a couple of Rockers overskated it. Matt Graham did not. He clears all the way down. 4:45 to go, third period, 40 seconds left on the Prowler PK. As Bartlett up with speed, it was knocked off his stick. Federley trying to muscle it out. Safardini gives it to Bartlett, walks down to the backhand, and Rodriguez has it in him. Another big save from Danik Rodriguez. He's had a few on this power play, and with 4:31 to go in the third, it is still a 2-goal Prowler lead. We will take a timeout with 27 seconds left on the Motor City power play. You are watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
We do invite you to tune in to our next broadcast on Monday, January 2nd, when the Prowlers take on the Mississippi Seawolves in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Puck drop is scheduled for 8 p.m., and the pregame show starts at 7:45. It's all right here on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. That'll be the third of 3 neutral site games in Baton Rouge, the second one the Prowlers have been a part of. They beat Mississippi 10-5 in their first contest in Baton Rouge. The Seawolves won the very first one of the 3 neutral site games, a 6-5 overtime win over the Carolina Thunderbirds, although that one didn't count for any standings points. It was considered an exhibition contest. This one is not an exhibition, however, and the Prowlers are looking to finish it off as Ryder and Chartrand collided. Makima with it. Final 14 seconds ticking off the Rockers' power plays. The one-time blast comes over. Parsons blocked it. And Chartrand off the glass all the way down. That will take care of Adam Hainzel's penalty. 4 minutes to go in the third period. As the Rockers come back in. Here's Dustin Henning, disguised as Evan Foley tonight. Gagnon flips it all the way out to Rocker Ice. That won't have enough gas for icing. Hopped over Devaney's stick. Schumacher able to keep it in front of him. Now Devaney just rips it in. Rockers trying to chop it out. Gagnon in there. Suicide scrum as Vartiainen joins the fray. The headman feed comes all the way up, got through everyone at the blue line. Rodrigue played it, so icing waved off as it came on net. Rimmed around to the far side. Here's Ryder to White at the point. Tried to wrist it on. That didn't get very far. Devaney with some space. They'll softly dump it in and head off for a change. 3 minutes to go in the third period. Ian White up to Ross Bartlett with speed. Dancing around a few Prowlers, and then Dustin Henning took it right off his stick. Rodrigue sliding across. Ended up taking the net off its moorings. And Ross Bartlett unhappy with that. And now Bartlett is going to get pointed towards the penalty box. And I think he might get some more as he just shot that puck at the wall as he was heading over there. Now Ross Bartlett will go to the dressing room. Unhappy that Danik Rodrigue knocked that net off its moorings. Well, Danik Rodrigue has been the story of the last few minutes, making 3 excellent saves on that Rockers power play to keep it a 2-goal game. We'll see what this does to on-ice manpower as Ross Bartlett is in the dressing room. Referees are not sending anybody over to serve a penalty for Bartlett, so it doesn't look like there will be any on-ice manpower affected, just Ross Bartlett will not return. Schumacher backhands it out. And goes on net. Freeborn chasing it down and forces Babin to cover. It's an offensive zone faceoff for the Prowlers, about 180 feet from where the Rockers need to be.
Here he comes right there.
Graham and Giuliano set to draw. Comes over to the boards. Quick shot, they score! Jay to Freeborn in front, and the Prowlers have their dagger. Perfect face-off play as Matt Graham won it towards Dalton Jay on the wall. He sent it in front to Freeborn. So it should be Liam Freeborn from Matt Graham and Dalton Jay. And that makes it a 6-3 game for the Prowlers. Decumbis deflects it in. So it looks like they're not giving Graham an assist on that one after he won the faceoff, but either way, a huge goal for the Prowlers. After tons of Motor City pressure, it's Port Huron that breaks through in this third period. Jay looking for more, drops it off, Graham shoots, blocker aside by Babin. Hainzel took a swing at it, Took a hit from Thompson as he did. Puck loose there in the corner. Freeborn comes in to play it. Squirts all the way to the near side. Here's Klauston. Von Klauston all the way across towards Perks. Now Freeborn with 1:45 to go in the third. Merritt off the boards. Back to Rocker Ice. Ian White the other way. White tried to take a shot. Hainsel got a piece of it with his stick. Reiter tried to put it in front. And that net is off again. Reiter took a shot just as the whistle was being blown. Rockers once again unhappy with the pegs holding that net in place. Although directing their anger towards Danik Rodriguez and the referees. So Merritt and Reiter set for the face-off. Brad Reiter wins it back. White with a shot through traffic, and Rodriguez got it with the stick. He thought it was underneath him, so he laid down, but that puck was flying into the protective netting behind the, above the glass behind the net here. So we'll do it again. Hainsel works it up the boards this time. Reiter cut it off. Looks like Babin will stay put as far as an empty net situation goes. Reiter backhanded it down. Henning got it to the line. Gaudette actually played it off his own man, and that's how the puck gets out as we hit the final minute of play in the third period. Merritt tips it back to Henning, and Dustin Henning up the boards towards Gagnon. Sam Gagnon trying to send Schumacher on his way. Now Frank Schumacher takes it from White. Tried to put it in front. It comes all the way out to center. Johnson over to Devaney. He steps in, but offside is the call against the Prowlers. 34.3 seconds to go in this third period. Prowlers looking to lock up a victory over their rivals after the Rockers have won 5 straight games coming into this over the Prowlers. Port Huron looking to get closer in this series as Koash comes in offside. Giuliano was in by a few too many steps. 27.7 seconds left in the period. Devaney and Koash are on the draw. Koash won it forward, but Alex Johnson takes it right out of his own zone. Flipped in. Here's White. Worked up to Gaudette. Final 13 seconds on the clock as Gaudette's shot goes wide. Klauston put it on. Good save by Rodriguez. And Gagnon picked it off at center, but time will expire before Sam Gagnon can get a breakaway going. And the Port Huron Prowlers defeat the Motor City Rockers by a final score of 6-3 here at Big Boy Arena in Fraser. And for the Prowlers, it's their first win over the Rockers in their last 6 games. And they take second place in the Continental Division, right back from their in-state rivals. What a wild game we had tonight. Before we get too far into the post-game show, another reminder to tune in to our next broadcast. On Mondays, the Prowlers salute all their fans that came down to Fraser to watch this one. Our next broadcast is on Monday, January 2nd at 8 p.m. when the Prowlers take on the Mississippi Seawolves in Baton Rouge. It will be an 8 o'clock puck drop from the Raising Cane's River Center. And the pregame show begins at 7:45, all right here on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Well, let's dig in here as the first period did not start the Prowlers' way. Tim Perks and Roman Gaudette got this Rockers up 2-0 early. Larry Vartiainen got one back before the end of the period. Then it was 2-1 Motor City. After one period of play, did have a couple of fights in that first period. Tommy Cardinal and Gino Mini went at it, as did Scott Koash and Adam Hainsel. So that was the first period of play, and then all the chaos came down in the second. We'll give you the goals first. It was Joe Devaney with the backhanded Michigan to tie the score at 2. Matt Graham scored 11 seconds later to give the Prowlers their first lead of the night. Devaney would get another one later in that period to make it 4-2. Brad Reiter got one back for Motor City on the power play. Alex Johnson responded with a power play goal of his own. And it was 5-3 Prowlers heading into the third. Liam Freeborn scored the only goal of that third period, the late dagger from Dalton J. Well, now to the penalties. We already told you about the first period, and we moved to the second. And Gino Mini threw a hard hit on Scott Koash over in the Prowlers zone. Mini ended up with a 5-minute boarding major and a game misconduct. But that's when stuff really started to hit the fan, as Declan Conway came over and dropped the gloves with Mini. Conway ended up with a 5-minute major for headbutting and a game misconduct. So both Gino Mini and Declan Conway picking up 2 5-minute majors and a 10-minute game misconduct in the same play. They did not return to the game. And then just about 30 seconds later, there was a face-off in the Rockers zone. Elias Thompson went after Matt Graham, and Thompson ended up with a 5-minute fighting major and a 2-minute instigator minor. Graham only ended up with 2 minutes for roughing. Graham didn't even get his gloves off for that one. He just took some good shots from Elias Thompson. Matt Graham hung in there and took them like a champ. And then later in that period, that was it for the second, except for Vaughn Clouston getting a 10-minute misconduct after going after Brian Parsons at the end of that same play just after the Thompson fight. We headed to the third period, and things were much more tame in that frame. Just some minor penalties in the final 20 minutes, but it all adds up to a Prowlers victory here tonight at Big Boy Arena in front of a crowd of 1,169. Joe Devaney gets the first star of the game with 2 goals. Larry Vartiainen, a goal and an assist, was the second star. And Dalton J, with a couple of helpers, was the third star of the game tonight. Prowlers outshot the Rockers 47-28 for the game, holding Motor City to single-digit shots in the first and second periods in a great defensive effort. But when the third period came along, Motor City turned up the heat. It was Danik Rodrigue there to put out the fire, making some excellent saves in the last 5 to 10 minutes of that game to keep it 5-3 at that point, before Freeborn was able to put home what turned out to be a dagger for the hopes of the Motor City Rockers. That's going to do it for me. Have a great rest of your evening and a great rest of 2022. We will see you in the new year from Baton Rouge here on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel.